So we were for a while not expecting any new Macs this year, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we have possible evidence pointing towards new Macs releasing this year. So yes, let's delve into this. Now for those not aware, we were initially expecting M3 Macs to release as soon as this year, but then those leaks all kind of dried up, and at this point, we were somewhat sure we're not getting any new Macs till early next year. But it seems Apple might have changed their minds, or the leakers were completely wrong. Mac Rumors has got information from a trustworthy source that Apple's going to begin accepting trade-ins for new Macs, and I'm guessing these new Macs are going to be the ones they released in June, so of course, that's the 15-inch MacBook Air, the Mac Studio, and the Mac Pro. And by the way, would like to remind you guys, like this video and subscribe for more content like this. It would be appreciated. Now I know what you're thinking, how is this a reference to new Macs, huh? Well, you see, Apple doesn't let you trade in a product they deem new. You might have seen this tag on their site, and while currently the newest Macs Apple sells are those three models I just mentioned, and so if they're now suddenly accepting trade-ins for these, then of course that means something new is launching very soon. And for those who still don't believe this is pointing towards new Macs, this is exactly how we found out we would get new Macs at WWDC this year, because Mac Rumors, just like they did today, published a report that Apple should soon let you trade in the M1 Mac Studio, the M2 MacBook Air, and M2 MacBook Pro, and boom, what happened a few weeks later, guys? We got some new shiny Macs. And so the fact it's happening all over again makes me very confident we're getting some sort of new machine soon. Now, since the leakers themselves seemingly weren't aware of this because they've said nothing, we'll have to predict what this new Mac or multiple new Macs could be, and guys, I have a few theories. I think the most realistic possibility that would be a real bummer, I can't lie, is the iMac getting M2 at last. Right now, this is the only machine in the range still using M1. That poor thing has been neglected for over 2 years, and so it's about time it does get an update, and so I could see Apple announcing that via press release in just a few weeks. Now this would be hella boring and disappointing if it does materialize, because for one, we've had M2 since June of last year. It's not exactly a brand new chip, guys. And also, it's only slightly faster than M1, so of course, you're not getting that big of an upgrade. But also number two, M3's right around the corner, and so it would be kinda annoying if they update this iMac with M2 months before the M3 transition begins. However, the reason why I could see this happening is because we've heard that Apple has loads and loads of M2 chips in their warehouses, because these Macs haven't exactly been flying off shelves, and so they've got to try and throw M2 into everything. But of course, it's no fun tempering expectations, and so let's now get into the exciting possibility, which of course is the M3 MacBook Air, and also maybe a new base MacBook Pro, because apparently that's also in the works, but I really don't want that machine to get an update. Now I know people in the comments are gonna say no way Apple introduces a new chipset via press release, but they've already done that, guys. While being based on M2, the M2 Max and Pro chips were brand new at the time and had decent upgrades that Apple could have totally flexed on stage, but they decided not to and went with a simple press release instead, because let's be honest, guys, not everything needs a bloody event with fancy transitions, especially when the design's not going to be that different. And that's exactly what these M3 Macs are, because yes, under the hood they have exciting changes, because M3 is based on the 3nm process, but visually speaking, they will look identical to their predecessors. I don't even see Apple giving us new colors, and well, back in the Intel days, Apple would often announce spec updates for existing machines via press release, so it's not exactly a new practice. So what can we expect with M3? Well guys, trust me, I think this is going to be a big upgrade, and I know every tech YouTuber on the planet has been saying this for a while, but guys, there is a reason why we are so excited. These will be Apple's first 3nm computer chips, which will be way more powerful whilst giving us a major battery upgrade. Now I know the A17 Pro in the iPhone 15 didn't completely live up to the hype, if I'm being honest, especially with the lack of efficiency upgrades, but I think we can expect battery life upgrades with these Macs regardless, because Apple needs as many selling points as possible to entice consumers when demand for Macs right now is super low. And so even if there's a much more powerful GPU inside, I'm pretty sure Apple's gonna give us larger batteries to offset this, and so I'm confident, guys, we're gonna get major battery upgrades with these Macs. Not only this, but there's also been rumors that finally Apple is getting rid of the base 8GB option and M3 is getting 12GB of RAM as standard. Thank you, Apple, for this. This is a game changer. Because yes, this could actually be the real upgrade with M3 because it would finally make the base models a viable option. Now yes, I know it's Apple Silicon, and most can live with 8GB, but down the line you could start to see the limitations of not having enough RAM, and of course remember everything's soldered onto the chipset, so you can't exactly upgrade this down the line. Also, in usual Apple fashion, it costs an arm and a leg to actually upgrade the RAM in these machines, and so whilst the base price for these M2 Macs seem enticing on first glance, once you upgrade the RAM to only 16GB, the price shoots up big time, and so if it now comes to 12GB as default, this would be a real game changer, and I'm praying the icing on top is 512GB of storage as standard. That would be awesome, but knowing Apple, they won't be that gracious. But the star of the show performance-wise will undoubtedly be the GPU, similar to, of course, what we saw with the iPhone 15 series. We know the M3 should be based on A17 Pro, so as soon as Apple announced hardware ray tracing for a bloody iPhone, it got me hella excited about the possibility of gaming on Macs. If Apple offers hardware ray tracing across the board for all M3 Macs, that's going to be a big reason for developers to make games work with Macs, which in turn increases their market share in the gaming world because you now actually have a decent library of games that consumers can play. Now this won't happen overnight, there is still a long way to go, but I'm excited for the GPU upgrades regardless because that kind of power in a base level MacBook Air would be ridiculous, especially when it's fanless. Now the CPU upgrades in comparison won't be that major in my opinion, similar to what we saw with the iPhone's A17 Pro, but that's not a big issue because I think both M1 and M2 were fine CPU wise, they were just lacking some GPU grunt. Anyways, along with the base MacBook Air, we also hear the base MacBook Pro is gonna be updated, and this just puzzles me if I'm being honest. Why the heck is Apple releasing this? Especially now that we have a 15-inch MacBook Air in the range. We don't need a machine like this. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching.